Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers in search of creative teaching strategies. On this week's mini episode, let's talk about whole class novels. If you've ever felt like you were stuck in a rut doing the same thing day after day after day, I've got a quick mindset shift to help. I do not want you to give up on whole class novels, so let's talk about how to make them work. In theory, whole class novels are the bread and butter of English. But if you struggle to get students to read at home and you're finding the daily routine of covering a few pages every day a total slog, I hear you. You might have heard me talk about this with Amanda from Mud and Ink Teaching last year on the pod, and I really appreciated her ideas, which, combined with hearing from lots of folks trying to figure out how to run a whole class novel unit successfully, have led me to think even more about this. So here's my suggestion, my one simple tweak. Create days of the week that are focused on different things and give that whole class novel a break pretty regularly. Sounds simple, right? Too simple? Hear me out. Sometimes a little bit of creative constraint actually makes it easier to plan. It's that freedom in routine thing that we hear about. I've always been amazed at just how many things English teachers are supposed to cover. And last year, as I went through every single standard from 7th grade ELA to 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, as I was creating planning materials for the Lighthouse, it really drove that home for me. No doubt you're trying to figure out how to advance your students' work in vocabulary, different writing formats, reading comprehension, public speaking, and listening. Plus, I know you're a creative teacher who wants your students to be engaged in real-world work with an authentic audience. Making a shift away from covering each night's reading the next day in class will help you move forward across all these different priorities and give your students more time to read in between text-centered classes. So let's say you decide that 2 days a week out of your 5-day-a-week schedule are going to be for your whole class novel. Let's just picture what that might look like. Maybe on Mondays, you spend the first 15 minutes on choice reading, and then you're working on podcasts related to the essential question of your whole class novel, or the theme, or the context, or whatever. Tuesdays, maybe you're doing a quick reading check-in activity to kind of see how it's going for kids with the whole class novel, and then a Harkness discussion based on the chapters your students have read over the previous few days. Wednesdays might be focused on, again, 15 minutes of choice reading and then some writing practice. Maybe you're trying to create a variety of prompts around short stories, poems, audio clips, podcasts, articles related again to the themes of the whole class novel, but consumed right there in class so you know that everyone is on the same page. Thursdays, you might do a deep dive into the whole class novel again with small groups or partners engaging in different kinds of creative processing activities like a close reading activity or reader's theater or mini debates about an issue that's come up in the reading with text as evidence or theme one-pagers or whatever else you're excited to do related to the novel. And then Friday could be for first chapter Fridays, another 15 minutes of choice reading and some vocabulary work. Or maybe you're doing Genius Hour for a semester, or whatever is advancing your priorities. This is just one imaginary example of how you could structure a week with plenty of variety. Thanks so much for joining me today to talk about this simple mindset shift that can change things up to make whole class novels more successful. The bottom line is you don't need to talk about your whole class novel every day to do a whole class novel. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.